burning home. A young woman loses her fight for life after running through flames at Budrum.
Pauline Hanson under attack for going AWOL from federal parliament.
Agony for Argentina as Spain claims the World Cup glory. Fans celebrate from Barcelona to Brisbane.
A hotel, hospitality and even homes. Dreamworld's show-stopping expansion plans given the green light.
Goodbye, my friend. That's life.
Tears and tall tales, a fitting farewell to legendary broadcaster Darren Hinch.
And there may be 4 of them, but they're 1 in 15 million, the tiny miracles born in Brisbane.
Live across Queensland, this is 7 News with Max Futcher and Sarah Greenhalgh.
Good evening. A young woman has died from critical burns after fire tore through her Budrum unit.
Neighbours told 7 News they tried to help the 21-year-old but were forced to flee their own homes as the blaze quickly spread.
An explosion of flames. Neighbours run for their lives in a sea of red.
Everyone get out! There's a fire! Holy
Within minutes, a Budrum unit was engulfed. Dozens of other homes in the King Street complex and a neighbouring petrol station at risk.
Holy hell, it's getting bigger.
There was flames just shooting out the back door, flames shooting up against the window.
21-year-old Isabella Nicholls was showering upstairs when the fire started on the ground floor of her home. She was severely burned on her arms, legs, stomach and face, trying to escape.
She's very badly injured. I put to her and that was pretty intense.
A critical care paramedic and doctor were flown in to treat Isabella before she was taken to the Royal Brisbane and Women's Hospital. This morning, she passed away. Family and friends posting tributes to social media.
The scene was quite confronting. Everything is in our scope at the moment for a line of inquiry.
Firefighters were back on scene today, dampening down as investigators try to piece together what caused the blaze. Sadly, it's believed 2 miniature dash hounds perished in the fire.
It was absolutely terrifying. Just so terrifying. It was quite emotional for all of us.
A community now recovering from the horror and mourning the death of a young soul taken too soon. Rachel Baxter, 7 News.
Pauline Hanson has boasted about having one of the worst attendance records in federal parliament, declaring she simply doesn't turn up. But despite being MIA, she's just got a bounce in the latest polls.
The program has gone to air, but for Pauline Hanson, the spotlight is only intensifying.
Who said it was going to be an onslaught?
Oh, come on.
In an extended interview shown here for the first time, boasting about not doing part of her job.
Your Senate estimates hearings record is the worst.
Yeah.
It's terrible.
I don't turn up.
Claiming committees which take evidence on the detail of legislation and the budget aren't worth her time, but insisting she never misses a day in the Senate chamber.
I'm there at Parliament every time when Parliament's sitting. Yes, I am there.
Adamant that outside 7 days suspension for this stunt, she hasn't missed a single day.
When you're passing legislation, I'm there every day.
But official parliamentary record shows she's not. Far from it. Since entering the Senate in 2016, she's missed 76 sitting days, 60 of them without leave, including an entire 2-week sitting in October and November when she joined mining billionaire Gina Rinehart on her private jet to Donald Trump's Mar-a-Lago estate for a Conservative conference, skipping 8 sitting days and 96 votes on 22 pieces of legislation.
She needs to front up to the Australian people, explain herself and apologise for trashing this country.
And questions too over massive budget cuts she tells Spotlight she'd make, about 3/4 of which, $45 billion worth, don't seem to exist.
We'd get rid of the climate change department, about $30 billion a year.
The department's real budget, just $8.7 billion.
Then you've got the Aboriginal industry, and that's another $30 billion.
Total Indigenous funding, though, just $6 billion. While on another topic...
And she also said she loved mass deportation.
No, you're wrong. You're wrong.
Barnaby Joyce adamant.
She didn't say that. It's ridiculous.
But she did.
Do you think, Senator, this concept of mass deportation is a good one?
Oh, I love it.
A love now denied. To put Pauline Hanson's attendance record in some perspective, she's missed the equivalent of 1 full year of parliamentary sittings in the decade since joining the Senate, and she skipped more than 2,000 votes on legislation from immigration and terrorism to health and pay. Now, her followers do forgive her an awful lot. One Nation's vote rose a point back to 30 in today's news poll. But on this, even the most die-hard supporters are well within their rights to say, please explain. Max?
Mark Riley in Canberra. Donald Trump says the 3 US soldiers killed in the 2 days in the Middle East were great patriots fighting to stop Iran getting a nuclear weapon. The American death toll is rising tonight as Gulf nations once again come under attack.
The buzz of a drone. The full warning of US punishment of Iran targeting a Tehran-backed militant group after another US death.
We hit them very hard again tonight, and we did that in honour of the probably 3, it's probably 3 as opposed to 2, great patriots.
The third killed in northern Iraq trying to disarm fragments of a downed Iranian drone. Another soldier was hurt. More remains have been found too in Jordan, where 2 soldiers were confirmed dead in an attack. The number of US personnel killed in this war now 17, with 1 missing.
Well, we feel very badly, but you know, those great people, those great patriots were out there fighting that Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon.
The whole region once again in the firing line. Sirens sounding in Jordan, fearing Iranian attack. US forces flying a 9th night of missions. Central Command says the focus is diminishing Iran's ability to attack ships in the Strait of Hormuz. From Tehran,
Iran's armed forces will give a devastating response to any act of brutality.
Claiming a nuclear power plant under construction was bombed. International observers believe no nuclear material was held there. Hewitfeld, 7 News.
The state government has pinched an old bank slogan in a bid to encourage more Queenslanders to pitch in a disaster.
It didn't come cheap, with questions raised over whether it's good use of taxpayer dollars in a cost of living crisis.
When natural disasters strike, the government will be recycling an old bank slogan.
You can count on a Queenslander.
Taxpayers have been billed $150,000 to use the trademark in recovery efforts. That's $25,000 for each word.
I think it will ease the mental anguish and anxiety that people have in those situations.
That's the catch cry. The spending could have paid for an extra 750 sports vouchers, which Tim Mander spent the morning promoting as a cost of living relief measure. He says more than 290,000 children have benefited from the Play On program.
They're dying for me to drop it, these guys.
Spending is taking centre stage at Parliament as budget estimates hearings get underway, including the tax bill for 84 MPs who've stayed in the precinct for personal reasons.
It has increased from almost $7,000 last year to almost $35,000 this year.
The Speaker reluctant to release a list of government and non-government MPs.
Nah.
He remains tight-lipped about how many nights he slept in the taxpayer-funded annex after his marriage broke down.
I'm not going to talk about my personal issues.
As for price tags on games venues, the reinstated Olympics and Paralympics Minister says any extra expenses will be covered by sponsors and ticket sales. Tomorrow will mark 5 years since Brisbane won the hosting rights.
As things become more concrete, we'll know the actual cost.
Tim Mander is expected to face a grilling at budget estimates hearings when he appears on Thursday.
I play a bit of catch-up, been away for a couple of months.
Cautious about dropping the ball. Marlena Wapp, 7 News.
A coroner has ruled the death of a baby girl at Redcliffe Hospital was caused by a congenital heart defect. Thea Flasker died 4 hours after a difficult delivery in September 2023. Her parents raised concerns about her care, which led to an inquest. Today, a coroner found all staff involved in her care post-birth did everything they could.
Most Gold Coast beaches stayed closed for a second day as wild seas and powerful winds continue to lash the east coast. Conditions are easing but have already made their mark, leaving behind steep sand cliffs.
Given how big the swell was, the beaches have actually held up pretty well. We've obviously got those large and powerful waves, a lot of unstable water moving.
The biggest wave last night was recorded offshore of the Tweed at just under 10 metres.
Yeah, Tony, it was pretty wild, but the conditions won't last much longer.
Yes, Max, but it will be a gradual easing process. At the moment, our low is weakening off the central Queensland coast, but still driving this band of gusty winds all the way from the southeast up towards the tropics. Tomorrow, it should amble north, taking the strongest winds with it and easing those wind gusts in the southeast. We're looking at gusts dropping back into that 40 to 50 kilometre per hour range, in turn starting to drop the wave heights too. That trend will continue into Wednesday. More sunshine on the horizon too. I'll be back soon with the forecast.
Thanks, Tony. Well, the World Cup final looked more like the Super Bowl in New York, thanks to a star-studded halftime show.
There was only one goal in the decider, but it was enough for Spain to break the hearts of Argentina fans.
Champions of the world.
Oh, Spain!
Glory in New Jersey, celebrations in Madrid and Barcelona. Spain living the dream, the greatest of all time, reduced to tears.
Perfection is hard to repeat.
After a day that began with joy and hope, 80,000 fans in New Jersey as Tom Cruise set the stage. Presidents with the best seat in the House, flying in on Marine One. Enter final kicked off. The real game was celebrity sightings.
Matt Damon, another amongst the cast of stars.
Spain bring on legends behind the wheel. From the Queen of Pop to the world's most famous puppet. Kira signing off. When the wait was over, Spain by fury and frustration. Argentina heartbroken, angry and not hiding it, as Messi cut a lonely figure. So a dream outcome for Spain, winning what is their second World Cup title, but absolute heartbreak for Argentina and their fans. Probably the last time we'll ever see Lionel Messi in a World Cup, not the way these fans wanted to say goodbye to him. A full circle moment. The baby Messi once held. This is Lamine Yamal's time now, shared with his little brother. Donald Trump, as expected, front and centre, as the Spanish celebrated across the globe. Parties as big as the champagne bottles overflowing in the Champions Room. In New Jersey, Rob Scott, 7 News.
Live now to Tom Saker in Barcelona. Tom, Spain is waking up to a new day on top of the world.
Yeah, it certainly is, Sarah. It is a little bit of a slower start than you would probably normally have here on a Monday morning, but this is the reality they're waking up to. Bicampeones del Mundo, twice champions of the world, with their hero, Ferran Torres, on the front page, holding the World Cup trophy. And in sport, quite simply, Campeones lifting the World Cup trophy, Spain for the second time in World Cup history. Last night in Barcelona, just outside Barcelona where we were, the celebrations were absolutely wild. We're in a stadium packed out with about 5,000 people as they held on to every one of those 150 minutes and all of those attempts on goal as Spain's unrelenting attack just kept hammering Messi's Argentina, finally breaking through in extra time with that Ferran Torres goal to get them to 1-0. That was a very special moment where the entire nation, 50 million Spaniards, absolutely erupted. Then the final whistle, when reality finally set in that Spain were the World Cup champions for a second time. This is a country that certainly knows how to celebrate, and it was amazing to be there right in the thick of it.
Well, you enjoy it again today, Tom, once it kicks off again. Thank you for that. Our first Aussie athletes have touched down in Glasgow ahead of Thursday's start to the Commonwealth Games.
Steve Titmus is here. Steve, our lawn bowlers arrive first.
Yeah, and they're in action before the opening ceremony even gets underway. It's a real race in Glasgow right now to make sure every venue is ready, with just an 18-month lead up for organisers. Let's go to Xander Maguire, who's there now. Xander, Scotland is bracing itself for a green and gold invasion.
Well, Steve, the city previously hosted the event in 2014, but after Victoria abandoned this year's event, well, Scotland saved the day. The program will be stripped back and make use of existing venues like those behind me, but make no mistake, this will be a massive international event. Australia, of course, has a rich history at the Commonwealth Games, competing at every one since its inception and being the most successful nation in the Games history. So now Glasgow is preparing to hear the Aussies roar. The first green and gold heroes arrive at Oz HQ. Our bowls team planting the flag, the dream of representing Australia at a Commonwealth Games soon to be realised.
Becoming very overwhelming now. It's all starting to become very real now, getting the kit and everything else.
Without an athletes' village at these reimagined games, Team Oz had to get creative. They've hired a hotel and decked it out with everything Aussie.
It's not my first rodeo, so I've been to a few of the games now, and to be able to walk into this facility and see the possibility of the spaces that we've never had access to previously in a centralised HQ location was immediately really exciting.
Organisers have gone to the nth degree to ensure our champions are fuelled for peak performance on a global stage. 10 sports and 6 parasports will be hosted in a concentrated 7-kilometre corridor. The main hub is the Scottish Events Centre. That includes the Armadillo, where 20 medals are up for grabs, and the Hydro, where our Diamonds will be going for gold. At the Scotstoun Stadium, home to track and field, there are 59 medals to be claimed, 56 in the pool at the Tollcross Swimming Centre, and 26 at the nearby Sir Chris Hoy Velodrome. Glasgow came to the rescue when Victoria abandoned the event after outpricing itself. The city is repurposing venues from the games it hosted 12 years ago.
Staging a games in less than 18 months has been record-breaking.
But Glasgow's in the midst of a makeover. Scaffolding and ongoing construction has left locals questioning whether the event will be up to scratch.
There's a real atmosphere in the city, there's an energy, the buildings are going up, everyone's ready, and we're here to welcome the whole Commonwealth.
The Aussies will be reminded of Victoria's role in these games each and every morning. Sonali is volunteering 650 cups of coffee daily with a cheeky little note on the back of the van. Victoria couldn't host, so we brought the coffee.
Bit of tongue-in-cheek, don't mind it. It's sort of Australian right to have a bit of a dig like that.
A relaxing taste of home before it all begins on Friday. In Glasgow, Xander Maguire, 7 News.